The space around Earth was silent, but the silence did not mean peace. It meant waiting. Something unseen was moving through the darkness, far beyond the reach of human eyes. A ripple appeared, like water disturbed in the middle of the night. The ripple stretched, twisted, and then opened wide like a mouth. A wormhole was born. From that wormhole came light, not natural light, but cold and silver, like the shine of steel. Something waited inside, something not human. Earth did not know yet. Humans slept, worked, and lived their simple lives under the blue sky. But far above, in the orbital defense station Sentinel-1, a young officer named Ryan Hale saw the impossible reading flash on his screen. He leaned closer. His heart began to pound. It was not a meteor. It was not space dust. It was a gate, Commander, Ryan whispered, his voice dry. Something is forming on the edge of our system. The commander walked over, his heavy boots echoing in the control room. His face hardened as he saw the numbers. This isn't natural, he muttered. Prepare long-range scans. The crew worked fast. Every second the wormhole grew larger. Like a wound in the fabric of space, something on the other side wanted to come through. The first ship appeared, and it was huge, larger than any human vessel, black like stone, and covered with sharp ridges that looked more like weapons than armor. There was no communication, no greeting. It's only silence as the alien craft moved closer, slowly but with purpose. Ryan's throat tightened. He had studied alien contact scenarios, but none of them felt like this. The ship did not drift like a peaceful explorer. It advanced like a predator. The commander gave the order, send a message to Earth Command. Tell them, unidentified ship. Through wormhole, hostile possible. The message flew across the system, but inside Sentinel-1 time felt heavier, slower. The alien ship stopped just beyond Earth's defense perimeter. And then, more ships appeared. 1, 2, 5. 10, the wormhole was alive with movement. They are building a fleet, someone whispered. Ryan's hands shook. Why Earth? Why now? The commander did not answer. His eyes stayed locked on the black. Shapes filling the stars. Then, for the first time, they heard the aliens. A signal came through, not words, not human language. It was a sound, deep and heavy like thunder, mixed with metal grinding, made the crew's skin crawl. Computers struggled to translate, symbols and broken words appearing on the screen. Finally, 2 words appeared in shaky English. Access Earth. Ryan's stomach dropped. They did not ask for peace or for trade. They wanted access. Through the wormhole, to Earth. The commander's voice was steady, but his eyes betrayed fear. Tell them Earth is not open. Deny access. The signal stopped. Silence returned. For a moment, the crew almost thought the aliens had left. But then the lead ship turned, and its surface lit up with strange blue lines. The alien weapon charged. Shields. Up! The commander shouted. The first blast struck. Sentinel-1 shook like a leaf in a storm. Alarms screamed, sparks flew, and Ryan was thrown to the floor. The station had been built strong, but this energy, this power, was like nothing human engineers had prepared for. Return fire, Commander yelled. Cannons lit up the void, beams of white tearing toward the alien ship. For a second, it looked like the shot would hit, but the black ship bent light itself, and the human attack scattered uselessly into space. They're toying with us, Ryan whispered. The alien ship fired again. This time the blast tore through the outer ring of the station. Hundreds of lives were gone in seconds. The control room shook, screens cracking, lights flickering. Ryan pulled himself up, blood on his forehead. Commander, we can't win this. We need Earth to know. They must prepare. The message from Sentinel-1 reached Earth only minutes before silence swallowed the station. The last transmission was broken, filled with static and screams. But the words were clear enough. Alien fleet through wormhole. Attacking. Earth is target. Inside Earth Command, alarms echoed through the underground base. Generals rushed to the war room, their faces pale as the images from space filled the giant screens. They saw Sentinel-1 burning. They saw the black alien ships drifting like shadows of death. They saw the wormhole growing wider, alive with blue fire. General Harris, head of Earth's defense, slammed his fist on the table. This is no drill. This is invasion. Around him, officers spoke quickly, voices heavy with fear. Earth had been united for years, but only for trade, exploration, and diplomacy. They had weapons, yes, but nothing like the monsters that had torn Sentinel-1 apart. In minutes, Dr. Evelyn Cross, the lead scientist for space defense, stared at the wormhole readings. Her hands trembled. They are not only here for Earth, they are using us as an entry point. If they secured this wormhole, they could spread anywhere. Her words made the room colder. Everyone realized the same thing. Earth was not only defending itself, humanity was standing at the gate of the galaxy. Meanwhile, in the city of New London, Ryan Hale's message spread to civilian channels before it was locked down. People saw fragments of alien ships on their screens. Fear gripped the world. Children cried, streets filled with shouting voices. Social networks exploded with one word repeated again and again: aliens. Some hoped they were friendly. Some prayed. Most were terrified. But while Earth argued and panicked, the aliens acted. Their fleet moved closer. Slowly, confidently, they did not rush. New humans were weak. Back in orbit, the first line of defense 12 satellite cannons powered up. Giant beams of light shot toward the alien ships. The sky itself seemed to split open. For a moment, the human weapons gave hope. Explosions lit the void. 2 alien ships cracked, their armor glowing red. But then, something happened. The damaged ships did not fall. They healed. Their black surfaces closed like living skin. Within seconds, the damage was gone. The fleet moved forward again. General Harris slammed his hand down. Impossible. Nothing can repair itself like that. Double quotes, Dr. Cross whispered. It's not technology. It's biology. Their ships are alive. The room went silent. Alive. Ships made of flesh and steel, machines and creatures together. Weapons grown, not built. Then came the message. The alien sent another signal. This time it was clearer. A voice deep, heavy, almost human echoed through every channel. Grant access. Earth is path. Deny, and Earth dies. The world listened. Every home, every city, every station heard the words. There was no misunderstanding, no chance for peace. The president of Earth United, Alina Ward, stood in front of the cameras. Her face was calm, but her eyes carried the weight of billions. Of lives, to those who come through the wormhole, this planet is not yours. Humanity will not kneel. You will not have Earth. The response was fire. The alien fleet opened their weapons. Blue beams shot down toward Earth's orbit, smashing satellites, tearing apart defense stations. One of the beams slipped through and burned into the atmosphere, striking the Pacific Ocean. The sea boiled for miles. Millions saw it from their windows, from their screens, from the beaches that suddenly turned to fire. Panic turned to chaos. Cities screamed. Sirens blared. But in the shadows of Earth's command, Dr. Cross leaned closer to the wormhole scans. Her mind worked faster than her fear. They are strong, she whispered, but they made one mistake. If the wormhole is open, then it can be closed. General Harris turned to her. Explain. She pointed at the unstable energy spikes. The wormhole is alive, like their ships. If we hit it with the right resonance, we might collapse it. Cut their army in half. Lock them out. The room filled with silence. The plan was dangerous. If they failed, the wormhole could grow out of control and swallow Earth itself. But what choice did humanity have? Harris looked at the president through the secure screen. We either strike the wormhole, or we wait for them to take the planet. President Ward closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them with steel. Do it. Outside, the alien fleet gathered in perfect formation. More ships spilled through the wormhole, black shadows covering the stars. Their message had been clear. They believed Earth would break, but they did not understand humanity. Humans did not surrender. Even standing before terror, they chose to fight. Deep beneath the surface, preparations began. Engineers armed the resonance cannon, a weapon never before tested, designed to shake the very fabric of space. Soldiers prepared for ground combat, knowing the aliens would land sooner or later. Civilians were sent to shelters, but many refused to hide. The battle for Earth was coming, humanity's first real war among the stars. And above them, the wormhole pulsed like a living wound, bleeding shadows into the night. The commander's face was pale, but his voice was iron. Send everything, every recording, every detail. If we fall here, Earth must know what comes. Ryan's fingers flew over the console, sending the last desperate message through secure channels. He did not know if it would reach before the station was destroyed. The wormhole pulsed again, larger, brighter. Shadows moved inside it. More ships were waiting. The aliens had not come for peace. They had come for conquest. As Sentinel-1 burned. In orbit, Earth slept below, unaware that the sky above had just opened its mouth. Monsters had stepped through. The order had been given. Earth would not wait to be destroyed. The resonance cannon was humanity's only chance, beneath the ice of Antarctica, inside a hidden fortress. The massive weapon stood. It was not built for war, but for science meant. To study gravity waves and deep space energy. Now, engineers worked night and day to turn it into a weapon. Ryan Hale, the young officer who had sent the last warning from Sentinel-1, had survived. He had been evacuated by a patrol ship before the station's final destruction. Now he stood inside the fortress, still haunted by the screams of his crew. His head was bandaged, his body tired, but his eyes were sharp. General Harris walked beside him, looking at the glowing core of the resonance cannon. You saw them up close, Hale. You know what we're facing? Ryan's voice was low. They don't see us as people. To them, we're just ground to walk on. They'll keep coming until we stop them. The general nodded. Then we must hit them where it hurts. The wormhole. Above Earth, the alien fleet moved with cold precision. Dozens of ships now filled the sky. They had not landed yet. They were waiting, watching, almost as if they wanted humanity to lose hope before the killing blow. Dr. Evelyn at Cross studied the scans again and again. Every second counted. She pointed to the data streaming across her console. The wormhole is unstable. It's like a living heart pumping energy. If we strike it at the right moment, the resonance could collapse it in on itself. Ryan asked the question no one wanted to say aloud. And if we miss? Dr. Cross looked at him, her face pale. Then Earth might be torn apart with it. Silence in the room was heavy. Everyone understood. Meanwhile, cities prepared for the worst. In New London, shelters overflowed with frightened families. Soldiers patrolled the streets trying to keep order. But fear was stronger than commands. Some people rioted, demanding surrender. Others shouted that humanity should fight until the last breath. One child stood at a window, staring up at the dark sky where alien shadows moved. His mother pulled him away, whispering, "Don't look, stay here with me." But the child whispered back, "They're watching us, Mama. They're waiting." Back in orbit, the aliens moved again. A group of ships separated from the main fleet and began to descend. They were coming toward Earth's atmosphere. Contact. An officer shouted in Earth command. Multiple ships breaking off. There. Landing. General Harris's voice thundered. Get the ground forces ready. We hold them at all costs. The world's armies mobilized. Tanks rolled across highways, fighter jets screamed into the sky, and soldiers in powered armor prepared. For the fight of their lives? Humanity was not advanced compared to the aliens, but they had numbers. They had courage. Ryan stood near the resonance cannon as technicians finished arming it. The weapon hummed, glowing brighter and brighter, a sound like the earth itself groaning. "Doctor," Cross shouted over the noise. "We must wait until the wormhole reaches peak expansion. Only then can we destabilize it." On the surface, people watched the sky burn. The first alien landing craft pierced the clouds, black and sharp like daggers. They fell into cities with terrifying speed. When the doors opened, what came out was worse than anyone had imagined. The aliens were tall, their bodies armored with living plates that shifted like muscle. Their faces were hidden behind bone-like masks. Their hands carried weapons that glowed with blue fire. The first battle began in New York. Human tanks fired, missiles roared, and jets dropped bombs. But the aliens moved too fast, for weapons. Sliced through steel like paper. Buildings fell, streets burned, but the humans did not run. Soldiers stood their ground. Civilians threw Molotovs, rocks, anything they could. For every human that fell, another rose to fight. The aliens had expected fear. What they found was fury. Back in Antarctica, alarms screamed. Wormhole spike detected. Shh, shouted a technician. Dr. Cross's eyes widened. This is the moment. Fire the resonance cannon. The giant weapon lit up. A column of energy brighter than the sun shooting into the sky, cut through the atmosphere, through orbit, and struck the wormhole directly. The entire world saw it. The sky tore open with light. The wormhole pulsed violently, its blue fire turning red. Alien ships around it shook, their formations breaking. For the first time, the invaders reacted with something that almost looked like fear. Ryan gripped the rail, whispering, "Come on, come on." The wormhole twisted, folding in on itself. Energy waves spread across the stars, rattling human satellites and alien ships alike. 2 enemy vessels near the wormhole were torn apart instantly, their black hulls ripped to shreds. Cheers erupted. In Earth Command, it's working, it's collapsing. But the victory lasted only seconds. The wormhole screamed. A shockwave burst outward, stronger than anything predicted. Systems fried. Screens exploded. Across the world, lights flickered. Dr. Cross's face went white. It's resisting, it's alive, and it's fighting back. On the monitors, the wormhole stabilized again, but now larger than before. Instead of closing, it had grown twice. Its original size. And inside its glowing mouth, something vast began to move. Not a ship, not a fleet. Something bigger, something that made even the alien armada look small. Ryan's breath froze in his chest. Oh my God, it wasn't their whole army. It was only the scouts. The ground shook. The wormhole pulsed like a giant heartbeat. Humanity had just learned the truth. The real terror had not even arrived yet. The world trembled as the wormhole widened, its red and blue light spilling across the stars. The failed collapse attempt had only made it stronger. And now something enormous was pushing through. From orbit, cameras captured a shadow darker than night. The alien fleet moved aside, giving space as if they were bowing. A shape emerged, so large it blocked the stars behind it. It was not a ship, it's a fortress. Its surface was like black stone, covered in living ridges that pulsed as though it had veins. Weapons as big as cities glowed with blue fire. The fortress was alive and dead at the same time. Half organism, half machine. And its size dwarfed every human creation. People on Earth saw it through telescopes, on screens, on news broadcasts. Entire nations fell into silence. Children stared at the glowing sky, asking questions no parent could answer. In Earth's command, General Harris gritted his teeth. "So this is their true weapon," Dr. Cross whispered. "No, this is their hive, a moving world." The fortress sent out a new signal. The voice was no longer broken. It was clear, deep, and heavy, shaking through every speaker on Earth. Earth is gate. Earth is ours. Kneel or burn. The silence after the message was worse than the words. Billions of humans had heard it. Some cried, some cursed, some prayed, but not everyone froze in fear. On the burning streets of New York, soldiers fought like demons. Alien warriors marched across the ruins, their glowing rifles cutting through walls, but the humans did not stop. Snipers fired from rooftops. Tanks rolled over rubble. Civilians fought with anything they could find. In one alley, a group of teenagers threw Molotovs at an alien patrol, but the flames caught, and for the first time the aliens stumbled back, their living armor screaming like wounded beasts. The kids didn't wait. They ran, hearts pounding, but with fire in their eyes. Across the ocean, in Paris, Fighter jets screamed low over the city, dodging alien fire to strike their landing craft. Whole neighborhoods burned, but still the French resistance pushed back. Humanity refused to kneel. Back in Antarctica, inside the Resonance Cannon Fortress, Ryan Hale watched the fortress ship filling the sky. His throat felt dry. How do we fight something like that? Dr. Cross stared at the readings, her face pale. We don't, not directly. If that fortress reaches orbit, Earth is finished. General Harris turned to her. Then what? She hesitated, then pointed at the data. The fortress is drawing energy from the wormhole. It is not stable on its own. If we can overload the wormhole, feed it too much energy instead of collapsing, it might implode and take the fortress with it. Ryan frowned. That sounds like suicide. She met his eyes. It is whoever fires the overload won't survive the feedback. The cannon will burn out, and so will the one controlling it. The room fell silent. Everyone understood the weight of her words. Meanwhile, the alien fortress began to act. From its surface, hundreds of smaller ships poured out, spreading like insects across the sky. They dived toward Earth's atmosphere, leaving trails of fire behind them. Cities shook as they landed. New London fell under attack. Rio de Janeiro burned. Beijing turned into a battlefield of steel and fire. Humanity's defenses were stretched. Thin, but still, humanity fought back. In Washington, soldiers formed barricades. Civilians armed themselves with stolen rifles. And entire neighborhoods turned into fortresses. People refused to be victims. They became warriors, in one hidden shelter. An old man whispered to his grandson, "Remember this. Remember how we fought? Even if I fall, you must live. You must tell them we did not kneel." Above them all, the fortress slowly descended. Its shadow covered the earth like an eclipse. Its weapons charged, glowing brighter than the sun. Ryan clenched his fists. We can't wait anymore. If we don't stop that thing now, there won't be a tomorrow. General Harris turned to Dr. Cross. Prepare the overload. We'll buy you time. Her voice shook, but she nodded. It will. Take 5 minutes to charge. 5 minutes of holding against their full attack. The general looked at Ryan. You've faced them up close. You know how they fight. Can you lead the defense until the cannon fires? Ryan's chest tightened. He remembered the faces of the crew he had lost, the screams of Sentinel-1. Had promised himself Earth would know what came. Now, he had to do more than warn. He had to fight. He straightened, his voice firm. I'll hold the line. Outside, the alien fleet closed in, and the fortress opened its mouth of fire. The ground trembled as humanity prepared for its greatest battle. 5 minutes. That was all they had. 5 minutes to save Earth. The order spread like fire. Hold the line for 5 minutes? 5 minutes. That was all humanity needed for the resonance cannon to charge. 5 minutes to push back an army from another galaxy. 5 minutes to decide if Earth would live or burn. Ryan Hale stood in the control bunker, strapping on his combat armor. His heart pounded, but his eyes were steady. Around him, soldiers prepared their weapons, checking rifles, loading rockets, whispering quick prayers. None of them expected to survive. But all of them knew why they were here. General Harris's voice came over the comms, strong and unshaken. This is it, people. We fight not only for Earth, but for every human who will come after us. We are the wall, hold it. And then the sky broke. Alien ships descended, hundreds of them. Blue fire lit the heavens as beams rained down, striking mountains, ice, and steel. The ground shook and the air burned. Contact. Incoming craft, shouted a soldier. Ryan pointed toward the perimeter. Positions. Hold the line. The first alien dropships landed near the fortress. The doors opened, and the warriors stepped out. They were tall, armored in black living plates, their weapons glowing with terrible energy. They marched forward without fear. Human cannons roared. Machine guns cut the air. Rockets screamed. The battlefield lit up with fire and thunder. The first wave of aliens fell under the storm of bullets, but more kept coming. They moved like predators, fast and ruthless. Blue beams sliced through human armor, ripping soldiers apart. Screams filled the combs. Ryan fired his rifle, the recoil shaking his shoulder. One alien fell, its armor cracking. Another leaped forward, almost on him, but a soldier beside Ryan tackled it with a grenade in hand. The explosion took them both. There was no time to mourn. Only fight. Inside the fortress, the resonance cannon glowed brighter, charging with unstable energy. Dr. Cross watched the readings, sweat dripping down her face. 3 minutes. Outside, aliens poured in greater. Numbers tanks rolled onto the field, firing shells that tore into enemy ranks. Jets screamed overhead, dropping bombs. For a moment, it seemed the line might hold. Then the fortress ship above opened its main cannon. A beam wider than a city street struck the ice. The shockwave hurled men and machines into the air. Half the defense line was gone in one blast. Ryan hit the ground hard, his ears ringing. He forced himself up, blood running down his cheek. Around him, smoke and fire. The aliens advanced through the chaos. 2 minutes, Dr. Cross shouted. Her voice cracked, but her hands never stopped working. Ryan grabbed the cum. Ball. Back to secondary position. Keep them away from the cannon. Soldiers regrouped, dragging the wounded, setting up new defenses. They fought with everything: guns, knives, even bare fists when the aliens came too close. Above them, the alien fortress pulsed with light. More dropships fell, bringing more warriors. Humanity was drowning in the tide, but still, they did not break. In New York, civilians threw firebombs from rooftops. In Paris, resistance fighters ambushed alien patrols in the ruins of the subway. In Rio, entire neighborhoods formed human chains, refusing to run as soldiers fought in their streets. Everywhere, humanity's answer was the same: we will not kneel back. In Antarctica, an alien warrior broke through the line, charging straight toward the fortress gates. Ryan sprinted forward, emptying his rifle into its chest. The creature staggered, but it did not fall. With a roar, it raised its weapon, and a tank shell blasted it apart. Smoke rolled over Ryan as the tank crew saluted before turning their gun on the next wave. 1 minute, Dr. Cross cried. The cannon shook, its glow now blinding. The fortress itself seemed to scream as it sensed what was coming. The alien fleet descended lower, desperate to stop the charge. Thousands of blue beams filled the sky. Human defenses shattered under the storm. Ryan's cum crackled. Hail. They're almost on top of you. Pull back. But Ryan did not move. He planted himself at the front line, rifle ready, eyes burning. If this was his end, it would be here protecting the only weapon that could save Earth. Dr. Cross's voice screamed through the cums. 10 seconds! The ground shook as aliens stormed the final barricade. Ryan fired until his rifle clicked. Empty. Then he drew his sidearm. His breath came ragged, his vision blurred. But he refused to step back. The resonance cannon roared. A beam of pure energy erupted into the sky, brighter than the sun, shaking the world itself. It tore through the atmosphere, through the alien fleet, and slammed into the wormhole. The stars burned white. The fortress ship convulsed, its black armor cracking. Alien vessels twisted, breaking apart. The wormhole pulsed violently, screaming, like a living thing in agony. Ryan shielded his eyes. The light was everywhere. The world shook, and then silence. The battlefield froze. Smoke drifted over shattered ice. Soldiers looked up, their faces pale. The wormhole was still there. The fortress was still there, but something had changed. The fortress no longer descended. Its glowing weapons dimmed as a wormhole around it. Flickered, unstable, as if barely holding together. Dr. Cross's voice came through, hoarse, trembling. The overload, it worked. The fortress is trapped, it cannot move. Tear rose among the surviving soldiers, weak but defiant. But Ryan did not cheer. He looked at the sky, at the broken fortress still looming above. His voice was cold. It's not over. They're not finished. Neither are we. The battlefield was quiet, but it was not peace. Smoke drifted over the ice where thousands of bodies lay, human and alien alike. The air was filled with the bitter smell of fire and melted steel. What had been a fortress of defense was now rubble. The resonance cannon stood cracked and silent, its glow fading after the massive shot. Ryan Hale sat in the snow, his armor dented, his rifle broken at his side. His ears still rang from the blast. Every breath hurt. Round him survivors moved, slowly dragging the wounded, carrying stretchers. Searching for anyone still alive, the sky above was dark with clouds of ash. The alien fortress hung motionless, its massive body cracked, bleeding strange blue light into the stars. The wormhole. Flickered, unstable, no longer a smooth gate, but a torn wound in space. For a moment it seemed Earth had won. For a moment humanity believed. But the silence carried weight. The fortress was not destroyed, it was only trapped. General Harris's voice finally came over the coms, tired but firm. All units report. Status of the cannon, Dr. Evelyn. Cross's reply was faint. The weapon is finished. It burned out in the overload. We can't fire it again. The words fell like stone. Humanity's greatest weapon was gone. The cannon had bought time, but nothing more. In cities across the world, survivors crawled out from ruins. New York was scarred and burning. Paris was half destroyed. Rio lay in smoke. Millions were dead. Billions watched in silence, staring at the sky where the alien fortress still waited. In Washington, President Elena Ward addressed what was left. Of the world, her voice carried grief, but also fire. Humanity has paid a terrible price, but we are still here. We have shown them that Earth will not bow. This is not the end. This is the beginning. Her words spread across broken radios, flickering screens. Even handwritten notes passed in ruined cities. People clung to them like light in the dark. In a shelter beneath London, a mother held her child close. "We are still here," she whispered, echoing the president's words. The boy, eyes wide with fear, whispered back, "We fight?" "Yes," she said, "we fight." But not everyone believed. Some leaders demanded surrender. Others argued Earth could never survive another attack. The fortress was too big, too powerful. If it broke free from the unstable wormhole, the world would end. Back in Antarctica, Ryan forced himself to his feet. His muscles screamed, but he could not sit still. He walked past the wounded and the dead, past soldiers rebuilding barricades, until he reached Dr. Cross. She was staring at the sky, her face pale with exhaustion. He stopped beside her. "Tell me the truth. Did we do anything at all?" She didn't look at him. "Yes, we heard it. The overload trapped the fortress inside the wormhole's instability. But it's only temporary. They will repair themselves. They always do." Ryan's fists tightened, and we can't wait for them to recover. "We need to strike now while they're wounded," General Harris overheard, stepping closer. His uniform was torn, his face smeared with soot, but his eyes still burned with command. "Strike with what? Our fleets are destroyed. The cannon is dead. Earth's armies are broken." Dr. Cross finally turned to face them. Not broken, angry. "That fortress is alive, but it's tied to the wormhole. If we attack its core while it's weak, we may finish it." Ryan's voice was low. "And if we don't?" She looked back at the looming shadow in the sky. "Then when it repairs itself, Earth won't survive the second wave." Silence followed. Everyone knew she was right. Across the world, survivors began preparing for what was to come. Engineers searched the ruins for working weapons. Scientists scavenged alien technology from broken ships. Soldiers sharpened blades, loaded rifles, and swore they would fight. Again, in the ruins of New York, a resistance leader raised a captured alien rifle high. "We bleed, but we are not finished. We will take their weapons and turn them against them." The crowd roared, their voices echoing through the broken streets. Humanity was battered, bleeding, but not broken. Ryan stood before the cracked resonance cannon, staring at its silent core. He thought of Sentinel-1, of his crew of the millions. Dead. He thought of the fortress still waiting above, its shadow covering the earth. His voice was cold but steady. "We're not done. We'll hit them again. At this time, we'll kill it." Dr. Cross nodded slowly. "Then we have one chance. One strike. Gather every weapon left, every soldier still standing, every piece of alien tech we can use. We strike the fortress before it heals." General Harris clenched his fist. "Then that will be our mission." Humanity's counterattack begins now. Above them, the alien fortress pulsed with faint light, repairing itself, slowly regaining its strength. The wormhole flickered, unstable. But a live Earth had won a battle, but not the war. The next strike would decide everything. The days after the resonance cannon's final shot were heavy with silence. Earth had survived, but only just. Cities lay in ruins. Skies were black with smoke. And the alien fortress still hung above like a wound in the heavens. But humanity did not stay down. From the ashes, survivors rose. Soldiers who had lost their units joined together under one banner. Scientists scavenged every piece of alien wreckage they could find. Engineers worked without sleep, building weapons from broken machines. Farmers gave their food to the armies. Civilians carried supplies. To the front lines, the world was no longer divided by nations. There was no America, no China, no Europe and the Earth. In a hidden hangar beneath the Andes Mountains, Ryan Hale walked through rows of soldiers and workers. Everywhere he looked, people were building something new. Tanks rebuilt with alien armor, plating, fighter jets carrying salvaged energy cannons, infantry wearing helmets patched with scraps of alien bone. Dr. Evelyn Cross stood at the center, surrounded by glowing fragments of alien tech. Her hair was tied back, her face pale, but her eyes shone with fire. "We've learned something," she said, her voice carrying across the room. "The fortress is alive, but it has a heart, a core that powers its weapons and repairs. If we strike that core while it is weak, we can kill it." Ryan listened, his jaw tight. "And you're sure about this?" She met his eyes. "As sure as I can be. This is our one chance." General Harris stepped forward, his voice sharp. "Then we strike. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier Earth has left will hit that fortress." This is not a battle, it's the last stand. The soldiers roared, their voices echoing in the steel halls. Ryan remained silent. He had seen too many die to cheer. But inside, his resolve hardened. If this was Earth's last stand, he would not waste it. Across the world, the preparations began. In New London, resistance fighters loaded captured alien rifles, their blue glow lighting the ruins. In Africa, engineers built massive rail cannons using scrap metal and parts stolen from downed alien craft. In Japan, scientists modified drones into kamikaze swarms, carrying explosives straight into the enemy. Children painted messages on the sides of tanks. For Earth, for humanity, for home. In the frozen ruins of Antarctica, soldiers raised a new flag above the shattered resonance cannon, the blue and green emblem of a united Earth. Even in defeat, the symbol carried hope. On the eve of the counterattack, Ryan stood outside the mountain hangar, staring up at the fortress in the sky. The wormhole flickered behind it, unstable. Bleeding light like a wound that refused to heal. Dr. Cross joined him, holding a datapad filled with scans. "You should rest," she said softly. Ryan shook his head. "Can't. Not until it's over." She followed his gaze. "I used to believe humanity wasn't ready for the stars, that we needed centuries more before we could face what was out there. But now," she took a deep breath, "now I think maybe we were always ready. We just didn't know it until they forced us to fight." Ryan said nothing. He thought of Sentinel-1, of the faces of his crew, of the billions who had died. He thought of the child in the shelter, who had whispered, "We fight." Yes, humanity was ready. The day of the strike arrived. Every remaining warship lifted from Earth's surface, filling the sky with steel. Fighters roared, engines screaming. Carriers launched drones and swarms. Even old, outdated ships were armed and sent forward. Humanity had nothing left to save. Everything had to be used. Ryan led a squad of elite soldiers, chosen from the survivors of Earth's bloodiest battles. Their mission was the hardest: infiltrate the fortress and destroy its core from the inside. Their ship was small, fast, and armed with stolen alien cloaking tech. It would carry them straight into the heart of the monster. Before launch, General Harris addressed the entire fleet. His voice was carried to every cockpit, every control room, every soldier on the ground. Today we face the shadow that tried to break us. They wanted us to kneel. Instead we rise. Humanity does not run. Humanity does not bow. Today we fight for Earth. The fleet roared back as one. Ryan sat in the dropship, his armor sealed, his rifle glowing with alien modifications. Round him, his squad, checked weapons in silence. They all knew the truth. Few, if any, would return. But none of them wavered. Dr. Cross's voice came over the comms, calm but urgent. The fortress core is unstable. Hit it hard enough, and it will tear itself apart. But you must be fast. If it repairs before you reach it, nothing will stop. Them. Ryan closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them. His voice was steady. We'll get it done. Outside, the alien fortress began to stir. Its weapons glowed, its engines burned brighter. The invaders knew the humans were coming. The final battle was about to begin. The sky above Earth was filled with fire. Human ships rose from the planet like a swarm of steel insects, engines burning bright against the void. They were battered, outnumbered, and weak compared to the alien armada. But they carried something. The fortress did not understand. Hope. The alien fortress stirred, its cracked body glowing with blue veins. It spread its weapons wide, charging beams of energy that could split cities in half. Around it, the alien fleet formed a shield. Dozens of ships waiting like predators guarding their queen. Then the battle began. Humanity's fleet opened fire. First, rail cannons launched molten steel into the void. Missiles streaked like falling stars. Drones swarmed forward, exploding against alien armor. For a moment, the sky burned with human fury. Alien ships responded with blinding power. Blue beams cut through the swarm, tearing ships apart. Fighters vanished in bursts of fire. Entire carriers split in half, their crews lost in silence. But humanity did not stop. Every loss was answered with another attack. For every ship destroyed, another soldier screamed, "For Earth!" and dove into the fight. Inside one of the cloaked dropships, Ryan Hale sat with his squad. He slipped past the chaos, hidden by stolen alien tech, weaving between wreckage and fire. Ahead of them, the fortress loomed, so massive it felt like they were flying into a planet. "Approaching entry point," the pilot said, voice shaking. Ryan stood, his rifle ready. His squad checked weapons one last time. No one spoke. "We're useless now." The dropship pierced a crack in the fortress's hull, slipping into a tunnel lined with living metal. The walls pulsed like veins, glowing faintly as if the fortress itself was alive. The ship landed hard. Doors burst open. "Go." Ryan shouted. The squad poured out, weapons blazing. Alien warriors rushed to meet them, their glowing rifles screaming. The air filled with fire and screams. Ryan led from the front, firing controlled bursts, every shot fueled by rage and memory. His squad pushed forward step by step, bodies dropping on both sides. The fortress seemed endless, corridors twisting like the insides of a beast. Dr. Cross's voice crackled through. "Comes, keep moving. The core is deep inside. You have minutes before it stabilizes." Minutes. That was all outside the human. Fleet was breaking. Ship after ship fell under alien fire. General Harris barked orders through the comms, his voice a thunder of defiance. "Hold the line. Buy the strike team their chance." Fighters dove at impossible angles, sacrificing themselves to take alien ships with them. Tankers rammed into enemy cruisers, detonating in fireballs that lit the stars. Humanity was dying, but it was dying on its feet. Inside the fortress, Ryan's squad reached a massive chamber. The walls glowed red and blue, alive with pulsing veins. At the center floated the Koran orb of pure energy, beating like a heart, filling the room with a low, endless hum. It was beautiful. It was terrifying. The squad raised weapons. Ryan shouted, "Hit it with everything!" Rockets screamed. Rifles thundered. The chamber shook as explosions tore into the core shield. Cracks spread across its surface. The hum turned into a scream. But the aliens were waiting. Dozens of them poured into the chamber from every wall, firing relentlessly. Ryan's squad fought back with desperate fury, but one by one they fell. A soldier to his left took a blast to the chest. Another covered the flank with a grenade, sacrificing himself to buy seconds. Blood stained the living floor, but the survivors did not stop. Ryan fought like a man possessed, his rifle glowing with stolen alien tech. He charged forward, firing, until the barrel smoked, then drawing his blade when the rifle emptied. Every step brought him closer to the core. "Ryan," Dr. Cross shouted in his ear, "if you overload it manually, the fortress will collapse. But you won't get out alive." He paused only for a heartbeat. He thought of Sentinel-1, of his crew, the billions watching from below. The child who had whispered, "We fight." His voice was steady. "Then I'll finish it." He ripped the power cell from his rifle, sparks burning his gloves, and slammed it into the cracked core. The orb screamed, energy surging wildly. The chamber shook like an earthquake. Blue light swallowed. Everything outside, the fortress convulsed. Its weapons flickered, then went dark. Cracks tore across its body as the core inside overloaded. The wormhole pulsed violently, twisting in on itself. "Pull back!" General Harris roared. The surviving human ships turned, engines burning. The fortress exploded. A wave of light ripped across the stars, tearing alien ships apart, collapsing the wormhole in on itself. The massive shadow that had covered Earth shattered into fragments, burning as they fell into the void. The silence that followed was deafening. On Earth, people looked up at the sky and saw only stars. No fortress. No fleet. No wormhole. For the first time in weeks, the night was clear in Earth Command. Dr. Cross lowered her headset, tears streaming down her face. "He did it," she whispered. "Ryan finished it." General Harris stood stiff, his voice heavy with both grief and pride. "Then, humanity stands because of him. Remember his name? Remember all of them?" Around the world, survivors wept, laughed, screamed. They lit fires in the ruins. They hugged strangers. They shouted one word into the night sky: victory. But it was not a soft victory. It was sharp and heavy, paid with blood. Humanity had won, not because of technology, not because of numbers, but because they refused to kneel. And somewhere in the endless stars, perhaps others would hear. Perhaps. Others would know Earth was not a gate. Earth was a wall. And behind that wall stood humanity.